This video was created by ZB Studio.
All right, let's get straight to it. In today's digital age, romance scams are on the rise. These scammers will weave elaborate tales, create entirely fake personas, and spend months, even years, grooming their targets. But knowledge is power, and that's what we're here to arm you with today. Let's get started. All right, let's talk about how these folks communicate. If you're getting messages that sound like they were written by a robot, that's a big old red flag. Then you got the other side of the coin, the love bombing. Suddenly, after 2 messages, they're professing undying love. If it feels like they're rushing things, you need to ask yourself why. And what about those messages that feel like they could have been sent to anyone? You know, the ones that are so generic. It's like they're reading from a script. You deserve better than a copy-paste romance, so wake up. Now, this one requires you to have your listening ears on and your thinking cap screwed on tight. Scammers aren't always the sharpest tools in the shed when it comes to keeping their stories straight. You need to pay close attention to the details they share about themselves. These are cracks in their fabricated reality. Your intelligence is your best defense against their deception. This is a big one, folks, a really big one. You've been talking to this person for weeks, maybe months. But when it comes time to actually see them, even on a video call, suddenly it's excuse after excuse. If someone is genuinely interested in you, wouldn't they be eager to see you? A scammer, on the other hand, has every reason in the world to avoid this. If they're constantly promising to visit, but something always comes up at the last minute, you need to wake up and smell the coffee. If someone is consistently avoiding real-life interaction, it's because they're hiding something. All right, let's talk about the bottom line, because that's often what these scammers are really after, your money. If someone you've only met online starts asking you for money, you need to slam on the brakes. They'll come at you with all sorts of sob stories. They'll make it sound urgent, life or death even. But 9 times out of 10, it's a lie designed to part you from your hard-earned cash. Think about it logically. Why would a legitimate person turn to a virtual stranger for financial assistance? These scammers are professionals at emotional manipulation. Protect your finances as fiercely as you protect your heart. You know the old saying, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. These con artists are masters of illusion. They create profiles that are practically flawless. But you gotta ask yourself, is this person real? If the person you're talking to online seems to have stepped straight out of a romance novel, you need to be suspicious. Don't let yourself be blinded by a perfect illusion. Now, let's talk about secrecy and a distinct lack of transparency. If the person you're communicating with online is cagey about who they really are, that's a major cause for concern. Why the secrecy? What are they hiding? Then there's the issue of their online presence, or rather the lack thereof. Do a reverse image search on their profile pictures. If they can't or won't provide verifiable details about their life, you're likely dealing with someone who has something to conceal. These scammers are not just after your money, they're experts at playing with your emotions. They know how to pull your heartstrings, how to make you feel sorry for them, guilty, or even rushed into making decisions you wouldn't normally make. Emotional manipulation is one of their most powerful weapons. They will often try to isolate you from your friends and family. One common tactic is the sympathy play. They might also use urgency as a tool. Trust your instincts. If someone is trying to control your emotions to get what they want, that's not love, that's manipulation. All right, let's discuss boundaries and the pace of a developing relationship, even an online one. Scammers often try to accelerate the intimacy process by prying for sensitive personal information way too early. Information is power, and in the wrong hands, it can be used against you. Be particularly wary if they try to get you to move the conversation off the dating platform very quickly. Keep your personal information guarded until you are absolutely certain you can trust the person you're talking to. In this day and age, most legitimate people leave some sort of digital footprint. So when you meet someone online and they claim to be a certain person with a certain background, it's not being nosy to do a little bit of your own research. A genuine person will likely have some discoverable online presence that corroborates their story. Google their name, the company they claim to work for, the city they say they live in. If their story has more holes than a slice of Swiss cheese when you try to look them up, that's a strong indicator that you might be dealing with a fabricated identity. Trust what you can verify, not just what you're told. Now, after all the technical checks, the reverse image searches, the scrutiny of their communication, there's one tool you have that is incredibly powerful, And that's your gut feeling, your intuition. If something feels off, if their story seems a little too wild, if their affection feels a little too forced or too fast, then it probably is off. Don't dismiss those feelings as you being overly suspicious or cynical. Your
This video
instincts
was
are
created
often
by
your
ZB
first
Studio.
and best line of defense against these predators. Trust your instincts, they rarely lie. We've covered a lot of ground today, and I hope you're feeling more empowered and a lot more aware. These romance scammers are out there, and they're preying on good, honest people who are just looking for a connection. But now you know what to look for. It's not about being paranoid. It's about being smart, being vigilant, and protecting yourself. Real connections are built on trust, honesty, and mutual respect, not on deception, manipulation, or urgent requests for cash. You got this.